Well, hi everybody, welcome to the Firewall. I'm Bill Whittle. You know, tradition says that there are 7 deadly sins, and I want to talk about number 6, envy. Think you're immune to envy? Well, try this little thought experiment with me. Let's say that you work for a large company and you're just one of 100 cubicles on a massive office floor. And one day, the company's CEO and the chief financial officer come to your cube and say, "Hey Dave, can we have a word? Dave, we're here because we've seen all of the hard work you've put into the company, your attention to detail, your scrupulous honesty, and your willingness to go the extra mile for our customers. And Dave, as a token of our gratitude, we wanted to give you this check for $200,000. We already paid the taxes on it, no strings, no joke, it's all yours." Then they smile, hand you the check for 200 grand, and they leave. You're filled with instant, radiant joy. It's nothing but pure gain. It's an utter windfall. Your mind races with all of the things you'll be able to do with the money. You can pay off the house or put the kids through college or sail around the world or whatever. And in your joy, you go to share this windfall with your fellow co-workers, only you discover that the same CEO made the same speech and gave every single other person on the floor a check, and their checks were for $500,000, not 2. Then what happens? You're no longer filled with joy, are you? You're filled with envy. You no longer think about what you could do with 200,000 tax-free dollars. You only think about what you could have done with $500,000. You start wondering why Jim, who drinks, got more than you when you know that he's a lush. He's just going to blow it all on booze. And Susie, well, she comes in late every day and leaves early while you've been busting your butt for 20 years. She gets 500 grand while you get a measly 2. How's that fair? And if the deal was structured so that either everyone took the money or no one got the money, well, I assure you, there are people out there, not everyone, but a few, who would rather tear up $200,000 of pure gain simply because the idea of other people having more is so repulsive to them. We call these people progressives. Now today, these same progressives, led by Harry Reid, Nancy Pelosi, and especially Barack Obama, have, in a desperate attempt to hold on to the power that people like them have always craved, launched the kind of class war the likes of which we have never seen in this country. But we have seen in places like China and the Soviet Union, you know, rich, fat cat, 1%ers, vampires and hoarders, parasites who take everything they can and who refuse to pay their fair share. Their fair share. In 2009, the top 1% of Americans paid 36% of all federal income tax. The top 5% paid almost 60%, and the richest quarter of America paid almost 90%. Meanwhile, the bottom half of America pays 2%. That's according to the IRS. You know, when we stand in line at the supermarket on the 4th of July getting our barbecue supplies, we're all equal. We all pay the same sales tax. We don't get to look into the wallet or the purse of the person ahead of us to see if they have more money than we do. And if they do, make them pay for some of our groceries. And likewise, we don't have to worry about the person behind us having less money than us and then lifting some of our hard-earned cash. No one's morally better or worse than anyone else in that grocery line, but as soon as they step out into Obama's America, some of us are evil, greedy, rich fat cats who don't pay our fair share, and others of us are honest, decent, hard-working Americans entitled to help from the government. How can we know who's good and who's evil? Well, millionaires and billionaires, not to mention all corporations, well, they're inherently evil, unless, of course, they're called Goldman Sachs or General Electric or Warren Buffett or Jeff Immelt. You know, companies or millionaires that donate to the Obama campaign. Those are the good kind of corporation or rich person. The bad kind of rich person is a 1%er. Now here in America, that top 1% mark is about $344,000 a year. According to loving progressives, if you make $343,999, you're safe for now in the 99%, but you make $2 more than that, $344,001, well, now you're a 1%er and you're evil. Why do we put up with this? Why do we put up with this un-American idea that if you make a certain amount of money, you're morally okay, but a little more than that, and you're suddenly not? Why don't we all pay the same percentage as if we were, you know, equal, morally equal? Now, to those who say that the rich should pay more, I would reply that someone paying 17%, say, of $1 million is paying more than 17% of someone making $10,000. It's 100 times more. And I know this makes me a Nazi, even though Nazi means National Socialist, and I hate socialism. But I think the poor need to pay the same rate as well. Because today, half of the country pays no income tax at all. That's not fair. In fact, that's absurd. Even people getting welfare ought to have 17% deducted from those benefits so that when those people vote to raise taxes, it's coming out of their pockets too. Everybody has skin in the game that way. Now, if we had people starving on the streets of America, I might feel differently about this, but when the #1 health concern for poor Americans is obesity, I say we can all afford to be in this together. Get rid of the progressive income tax and we're all equal. No loopholes, no tax attorneys, no 1,000-page tax codes, all gone. What did you make? Well, multiply that times 0.17 or whatever the number is and send it in. Thank you. Not only would the economy explode with the kind of growth that progressives could never imagine, we'd be equal again, and we'd be free again. We'd get #6, if not out of our souls, then at least out of our government. In exchange, we'd have prosperity, freedom, equality, and real fairness. Now, of course, that would also be the end of the Democratic Party. See, there's your problem right there. If we don't, if we let this continue, this demonizing of the successful, then one day, as we sit around our barely heated, government-issued apartments eating our sustainable algae cakes as we watch the Chinese land on the moon, we can hold up a coin with Barack Obama's profile on one side and the new American motto for the brave new world of change, ex uno plures, out of one, many. Oh, and the coin will helpfully list on the reverse side the criteria for which of us are good and which are evil based on the latest income data. And if you want to keep messages like this coming, go to declarationentertainment.com today and become a citizen producer. We really need your help. I'm Bill Whittle. We'll see you next time on The Firewall.